welcome to your reading. I'm Natalie and I'm a tarot card practitioner and artist living in Vienna, Austria, and I'm squinting my eyes because suddenly it gets really sunny. Aquarius, this is your general reading. I hope you already saw the all signs reading. If not, I'll link it up here or here. I never remember, but it's going to be up in the cards so you can look at it. If you've seen that one, you will have a general image of what the season will be like. Now, as I've sat here and as I've prepared for your reading, I have repeatedly heard the sentence, how can they say that? How can she say that? How can he say that? So I think that Leo season isn't really the month to repair your faith in humanity. I feel like there will be actions coming up from people around you where you don't understand how they could be so cruel. Cruelty, mean thinking, dark thoughts, misunderstandings, guilt tripping somebody, shaming. You will be surrounded by topics like this, and you will hear stories that just astonish you how other people could think that way. And you realize that, not everybody's in the age of Aquarius, and not everybody is prepared to live from a heart-centered and soul-fulfilled way. There are still darker parts in the human mind, the human general situation, where you really have a hard time to understand that and to grasp it. And Leo season is very positive in itself, since it gives you a lot of energy and it prepares you to really propel your own projects forward, but it also gives other people too much fire, and too much fire means blowing a fuse. So you will be surrounded by people who really either hurt somebody who you really like and love. So I don't feel like you're the victim per se, but you're just the watcher and somehow the judge of the whole situation. Even that gives you secondhand trauma, so to say. Okay, so let's look. That has been the general message that has been coming up, and now let's see what's coming up for you in the cards. A ton of cards. Okay, first one up is the Chariot. So yes, you are moving along. I feel like you have taken a new path, a new direction in the recent months, and now you really are able to even further follow that path along, become more self-sufficient, become more stable in your own being, become more aware that you are the king or the queen of the current times. You are an Aquarian. There's so much in there for you to be explored that it's a really generous and a really good time for you to just keep going. Now you're really more able to discern and to see what is right for you and what isn't. You were able to act on that. But still, when trouble comes up, and as I've said, when that kind of cruel acting, that kind of cruel realization, the coldness of other people, then you lose all your power. You become sort of the victim of your own thoughts, the victim of their actions. You feel powerless because you don't feel like there are so many people who have already awakened and who are acting from their heart. Sometimes you feel a little alone in that, and then you feel like you really don't know how to act in this world. And this is when you lose all sights and all clarity. And from there, the really good thing is to throw yourself into action, to propel yourself forward, really to come out of that passive, just swallowing things, just accepting the ways other people act. The thing is, you are not a victim. You're not a passive onlooker onto the situation. The thing is, step up, say something. Don't just look. Do something about it. If you're seeing something that is not right, you're being asked to take action on it. And action could mean to help the actual victim and to really help them through that tough time, or just to speak up and say, hey, dude, that's not okay. And if you speak up, you will be oh so very happy with everything around you, because that actually restores the faith within you and within others. Because you see, you're not just a passive onlooker, you're not just a passive victim, but you're actually somebody who is really connected to that kind of injustice, but in a way that you are also the one who can solve it. I feel like that makes you very, very happy, and it grounds you, and you just take the place in the world that you're meant to be taken, and that is to be fair. Not only a dreamer, yes, you can dream up a better world, and yes, you can dream up a better society, but you're also the one who has the wand in their hand to bring that into reality and to really show people where are the boundaries and how they can act from here. Moving along. Didn't I say justice? Didn't I say justice would come up? I feel this is so funny. You're the judge. You're judging situations, but not in an unfair way, not in a judgmental way, but in a way of like, this is right, this is wrong, and we stop here. So you are really being the judge of the month, the judge of the wrongdoings, the judge of the unfairness and the fairness. So I feel like you are here to show people the way you would like to see this world act and evolve into something that is bigger than some people can see. And there is love. So if you're romantically inclined, yes, this is the typical lover's card. What I feel coming up here is more happiness and more fulfillment in your life overall, since you're breaking your passive behavior into something that is action. It also shows everywhere else. So it shows in whatever you love, whatever you do, whatever your focus is, whatever people you are surrounded by, your lover, your family, your husband, your wife. Anybody who is in contact with you will be inspired by that kind of fiery action that you're taking, Aquarius, because that is what the world needs at the moment from you. They really need that kind of leadership, but the kind leadership, the mindful leadership. You're the mindful leader, and everything, all yellow cards, all very energetic, all good. But Aquarius, can we look at the victories and not at the things that went wrong? So you are still struggling with the cruelty. You still can't understand why the world has to be the way it is. Why do we even have to fight the cruelty? Why do we even have to have bullies and mean people and people who are unhappy and are just judgmental in the bad way? So you are challenged not to be stuck looking at the things that are not working out seemingly, but put your focus on the things that are working out. That is when the victimhood sort of comes back again. I feel like there are more turns and more circles that you have to travel through in order for that new behavior to manifest. So it's okay if you fall back into the old victimhood, the old struggling with the way the world is, but be aware that that's happening and then move on forward to really implement the new changes. Implement the new changes. That is the one single focus. So the way you propel yourself forward into action and the more clarity you have about yourself and the way you go about people and the way you go about correcting certain behaviors that you have just let slide in the past. You know, there will be some backlash. There will be people who are not as happy about you suddenly standing up for yourself, but you have to. And it's not just standing up for yourself, it's also standing up for the people and the things that you love. And it could be the environment, it could be your kids, it could be somebody else's kids. You know, I feel this is not just limited to your own family, but this is the general thing. Like, you could be witnessing something at the supermarket where you feel like, okay, this is super unfair and this is not right, and then you speak up. But do it in a way that is fair and just. Fair and just, fair and just. And this is the backlash that I talked about. So when you speak your justice, you will seem cold and harsh. And people will think, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? What's happening here? They feel attacked. And they feel like they don't recognize you anymore because you suddenly can be very strict. There's one face of the Aquarius where it's the dreamer and they are all kind and you're being like the most generous person out there and you give people inspirations and ideas and visions. And the other side is like, you're messing with me? You're gonna die. Not in the I really am going to kill you, but I'm really going to tell you the truth in a way that normally Sagittarius does, which is just blunt and hurtful, but sorry about that. But the difference between you and Sagittarius is that you really know when you're hurting people. This is a very almost Scorpio-like way of talking to people that is very direct, and yes, people will be surprised by the viciousness of your words. And going from there, we slowly head towards Virgo season, and I feel Virgo season will be even stronger for you, but let's see. Okay, so you're not dealing too well with the backlash. You might feel alone, you might feel like you're the only one who understands where this planet and this universe should move into. There will be some emotional starvation because people are moving away from you, old things are ending, old relationship contracts are ending, and you will feel the pain and you will feel your own disappointment about this world. So it's a up and down, back and forth thing, but you have to go through this. It's a new way of going about things. You're not the sign that likes confrontations a lot if you don't feel like they're beneficial, and sometimes this doesn't seem like it's helping. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you really feel like, oh, that was wrong, and then you're feeling guilty or you feel shame around the situation, but really trust in that it was important that you spoke up for yourself or the other person, so that the balance between good and bad, the whole karma comes into balance again. And up again, while you're speaking up for yourself, you're being there for yourself, out of nowhere, there will be a huge inspiration. This is not your home, Wasp. There's a huge inspiration coming in that will inspire you towards your own business. I feel like, Aquarius, there are many of you out there who are thinking about changing careers, becoming self-sufficient, or maybe even partly as a part-time job, but there's so much in there of changing your career, your job, your purpose, and something will come that will help you along with that in a way that you haven't thought of before. And before we enter Virgo season, what's happening here? While in the recent years you have been very silent and very calm and very accepting about certain things that are happening in your life, maybe along with your children, maybe decisions that other people took over your head about your kids or your projects, your job, your environment, your home, where you just let it slide again and you didn't want to see it, and now suddenly you're voicing that kind of, it's not resentment, but it's just your own boundaries. You do not want to play that game anymore. And when you're voicing that, there will be like a lot of, who do you think you are? What's happening to you? And people really trying to push you back into that old box, bottom of the deck. Interesting, lots of worries. So Aquarius, be prepared. That movement, that kind of dynamic where people really want to push you back into that box again that you have been in for years and years and years, or even months, but where you have played that role so very well from basically the time that this person or those people got to know you, and all of a sudden they feel like you're becoming very sassy and you're becoming sort of mouthy, wicked, hard to deal with. They will try to push you back into that, and there will be this kind of back and forth again. So I feel like this whole month is a lot of you breaking free from old entanglements. It's complicated, but you have to trust yourself because there are very positive cards in here. I mean, everything is going to be put into beautiful action. All of this is more than you can wish for. So really, Aquarius, this is a very good month. Okay, let's look at the cards as I see them. Okay, Aquarius, here we are back again with the cards as I see them. So this is the whole spread, the whole thing. I think it's very inspiring, actually. I think this is a spread that shows how hard you're working on your self-development, how hard you're working to really become a better version, somebody who steps up for themselves and others. So this is something that is dearly needed. It's a form of courage that does not only involve yourself. Let's look at the cards in detail. So you're really moving forward, action-packed into this season. Your clarity is on point. We have the black and the white sphinx at the bottom here, which tells me there is a lot of intuition, a lot of clarity about the good and the bad, the white and the black in this world. So your clarity, you're seeing the things that are going right and going wrong, and you know how to handle them. The thing is that you're still struggling with that old belief system of yours that who are you to speak up? Who are you to do something about it? Why is the world the way it is? Why do we even have to struggle with the cruelty? Why do we even have to have mean people on here? Why do we have to go through all this suffering? And you really feel like there's not much you can do, like your hands are tied. That makes you kind of suffer in a situation where you don't really have to suffer. Like there are 8 swords around you. You could easily cut yourself through and see what's really going on. So the solution here is to really speak up, step up, be loud about it, and voice your complaints, voice your emotions, voice your thoughts in a way that is honest. It doesn't have to be, in a way that is rude, but it's just not ignoring the fact that there is something going on that you do not feel as right, and you speak up. So when you learn to speak up, when you learn to put your foot down for yourself and others, there's a happiness coming up that you haven't felt before in a long, long time. You're feeling very content with yourself. This comes because you're being honest with your own limitations and boundaries and your own worth, your own rules, the way you see the world and the way you want the world to be. Though you want the world to be just. You want the world to be fair. You want the world to be honest and open and peaceful. So this is why the Judgment card comes up. The Judgment card says, well, you're the one who sees it so clearly. You're the one who feels it so clearly. Well, not everybody else does that. That is maybe your only mistake, Aquarius, is that you're thinking that everybody else sees it as clearly as you do. But I can tell you that's not the case. Not everybody sees it in that way. So you have to be the judge of all of this. This kind of positivity, this new vibe spreads in everything, in every part of your life that you really love. So this could be, yes, your family. This could be your work. This could be really the things that you're passionate about. And you take that kind of positivity, that sunshine, that kind of protective lioness energy. This is where the Leo comes in. It's that roar that everybody around you gets to feel and gets to enjoy. If you look at this card, these both are the ones that maybe trip you up a little bit. So the focus should not be on people who are not taking your medicine well. Your focus should be on the things that are running well. And even if the backlash and even if the struggle and the quarreling and the fights are more here, we have 3 cups fallen and 2 cups standing, even if this seems dominant, it really is necessary for you to go through this process. And these will become more over time. But really keep your focus on the thing that you want to change. Keep your energy up so you can really protect yourself and protect others and really form that kind of age of Aquarius. You're the leader here. You're the person who really steps it up and gives people a vision of what this planet, this life, this human condition could be like in a positive way. Which sometimes also means that you have to become a little stricter, a little more stern, a little bit more confrontational than you used to be, with harsher words. And some people might not recognize you anymore. They will feel like, oh, all of a sudden you're the cruel one. So there will be people pointing fingers at you. And don't take that the wrong way. That's just a very false mirror that people pointing fingers at you. But be aware that yes, there is a change that has been going on with you, and yes, some may feel it a little more, and they will tell you. And this telling brings up a sort of feeling of loneliness because you feel misunderstood. Hello, autofocus. And that kind of misunderstanding brings about that, emotional loneliness, emotional starvation. You feel alone in here, which is not the truth, but it can easily feel that way. But that doesn't last very long, because there is a new opportunity coming up. There are ideas coming up now with your job, with your self-sufficiency, with your income, that are inspiring you and that seemingly come out of nowhere. And while that is going on, these two belong together, I feel. There will be people who really want to push you back into the old box, who prefer you to be this person. So really, these two are also work together. They want you to be this one here. You were so much more easygoing when you were complacent, when you just shut your mouth and you didn't say anything. Things were going well for them. And all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore and they get angry. But that's a necessary reaction, because, well, you don't want to lose this one here. You don't want to lose this one or this one or this one. So really, there are a couple, or this one. There are a couple of good cards in here, like a lot of good cards. It's just very tempting to fall back into the old pattern up here when this one comes around. So be aware that yes, there will be backlash. Yes, there will be a lot of discussions and fighting and not everyone getting you, but really be aware that it's all for the greater good and you have to go through this if you don't want to get sick. Okay, Aquarius. Thank you so much for watching, Aquarius. If you've got something from this video, please share it, subscribe to the Moon Shadow Garden, and we will see each other in Virgo season. Bye-bye.